In this video, we're going to get React Native up and running on our own physical device. So this is going to be like your personal phone that's in your pocket or next to you right now. So let's get to it. Here's the series of steps we're going to go through. We're going to do all this stuff right now inside this video. So hopefully by the end, we'll have an application up and running. Now, for the first project we're going to work on, we're going to use a starter pack, a little starter project that I put together. This starter project has a tiny bit of code inside of it just to get us started and save a little bit of time. Later on inside the course, we're definitely going to be generating our own projects from scratch, but for right now, we're going to use this starter project. So hopefully you found that starter project in the lecture before this one, and hopefully you downloaded that zip file. If you didn't, please flip back to the previous video and download that zip file. Once you've downloaded that zip file, you can then extract it. You can place this project directory right here into any workspace directory you have on your local machine. When I say workspace directory, I really just mean a folder that you like to put source code into. You can put this folder anywhere on your local machine that you want. It is totally up to you. All right, so once we've got it extracted, we're then going to open up our terminal and we're going to change into that folder that we just created. So I'm going to open up my terminal right now and I'll change into that rn starter directory. Then inside of here, we're going to run the command npm install. When you run that command, if you see an error message, I want you to know right away that you should first try to update or install Node for the first time. You can find a link to install or update Node.js right there inside that red box. So back inside my terminal, still inside my project directory, I'll run npm install. When you run this command, Node is going to automatically download a ton of different dependencies into your new starter project. You'll notice that my installation occurs very quickly. That's just because I already pre-installed all the dependencies that are required just to save a little bit of time. Chances are for you, you're going to see that the installation process takes anywhere from like 30 seconds up to 2 or 3 minutes. Totally fine if it takes a while. As that installation is running, you might see a couple of different warning messages appear. If you see any warnings, that is also a-okay. Warnings are fine, and in fact, I really expect that you're going to see some warnings, like the ones you see right here on my screen. The only thing you need to worry about is if you see an error message. So if you see a big error message, well, that means that you need to pause this installation, pause this video, and we should do a little bit of troubleshooting. The first bit of troubleshooting you'll want to do is to just Google the error message. I'll be honest with you, you're going to see a ton of errors as you get started with React Native, and so you definitely want to be in the habit of Googling the error messages you see, because very frequently, other people run into the same problems as you. All right, so now that our npm install is complete, we're then going to run the command npm start inside that project directory. When we run that command, we're going to open up something called the React Native Bundler. This is essentially a program that's going to take all of our source code and get it ready to be ran on some mobile device. So now that my installation is complete, I'll run npm start once again inside of my rn starter project directory. Once I run this command, we're going to see a browser window appear, much like the one you see right here. So this is what we refer to as the interface to the React Native Bundler, or the Metro Bundler. Again, this is a program that's going to get your code running and ready to be executed on some mobile device. Now that we've got this bundler up and running, we're going to flip over to our physical device, like our actual phone, and do just a little bit of setup. So on our phone, we're going to install an app called Expo from the Google Play Store or the App Store, depending on whether you have an iOS device or an Android. We'll talk about what this Expo thing is in just a moment, but for right now, let's just finish up the setup. Okay, so I've got my actual physical phone right here. This is a screencast of my very real iPhone. So since I'm on iOS, I'm going to open up the App Store to install this app. Again, if you're running Android, that's totally fine. You're going to open up the Google Play Store instead. So once you've got your respective App Store open, we'll then hit search, and we'll do a search for Expo, E-X-P-O, like so. I'll then do a search, and we'll see something like Expo Client. It should be either the first or second result. You'll notice that there's something else on here called Expo with a big yellow logo. That's not what we want. We want to get the one that has the logo like this right here. Now, I've already got Expo installed on my phone, once again, to just save a little bit of time, so I'm going to open it right away. But for you, go ahead and install the app, and you can, of course, pause this video while it's installing. Once you've got that app installed, we're then going to go back inside of our browser over to that React Native Bundler. So here's my React Native bundler right here. You'll notice that there's a QR code on the bottom left-hand side. So we're going to scan that QR code. To scan the QR code, you can open up the camera application on your phone. You should not need a separate app just to scan a QR code. So on my phone, here's my phone right here. I'm going to flip on over to my camera application, and I'm going to scan that QR code. There we go. And you can see that I get that pop-up up here on the very top. As soon as I see that pop-up, I'm going to tap it, and that will kick me over to the Expo application that we just installed. Now, right here, let me pause right here and tell you it is incredibly likely that you're not going to see what I see. Notice how at the bottom it says, Building JavaScript Bundle. If you don't see this message down here, totally fine. I, once again, almost expect that you're going to see something that says like, cannot find connection, or cannot make connection, or something like that, or something like, this is taking longer than it should. If you see a message like that, then there's some immediate troubleshooting we can do. Back inside of the React Native bundler, you'll find a connection setting right here. For me, by default, it is set to LAN. If LAN does not work for you, then you can flip it over to Tunnel instead. When you change it to Tunnel, you'll notice that the QR code right here changes. So flip it over to Tunnel, and then scan the QR code again. When you rescan that QR code, hopefully then the application should start up. So either LAN or Tunnel. I've also heard some people say that local works, so we could change over to local and scan that QR code, but in theory, that should really not work on your mobile device or your physical device. You can give it a try, but it really should be either Tunnel or LAN. So try one or the other until you get it working. If neither of them works, well, that's fine. Once again, you can flip over to the discussion on this video, and we'll do a little bit of troubleshooting. I will say that if you can't get either Tunnel or LAN to work, one immediate solution that you can do, if you want to continue with the course right now, is to go to that appendix section and go through the setup to set up a local emulator or simulator. If you do that, you should be able to come back to this screen and get it working with a local device instead. All right, so if I now flip back over to my phone, here we go, the screencast. After a while, you'll notice it's taking a little bit of time here, but eventually this downloading JavaScript bundle process will be completed, and I should see the starter application appear on the screen. So I'm going to wait just a second or two for this to complete. On your device, you might see that this percentage is filling up much faster than mine. That's totally fine. If you're seeing that it's running very, very slow, like ridiculously slow, you can also close down the Expo application and rescan the QR code again. I found that sometimes solves some lagging issues as well. Okay, so now, eventually, once that entire downloading process is complete, I'll see the starter application appear. So this right here is the starter application. This is what we're trying to see. So hopefully you see the words home screen, along with the word like app or something similar at the very top. And that's pretty much it. So we've now got our application up and running, or at least hopefully we do. Once again, if you ran into any issues during the setup process, I really expect that is totally not out of the realm of possibility. Very likely that you ran into some issues, and we can always do some troubleshooting. Just hop over to the QA section. All right, so now the last thing I want to mention very quickly is that if you ever need to stop that React Native bundler, you can open up that terminal window that's running the bundler again and press Control-C. And then if you ever need to start it back up again for any reason, you'll once again run npm start inside of your project directory from the terminal, and then scan the QR code again on your mobile device. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so now that we've got our app up and running, hopefully, let's take a pause right here and continue in the next video.